What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com. And today, I'm your favorite blind film critic, by the way. And I'm talking about Black Barbie. And yeah, I chose to do this without my glasses and just get a little bit more into the Barbie mode of things. So, this is a documentary that's available on Netflix. It has audio description that's done by Aiuto, and I think I don't know, that's sort of like a newer company. I never know what the letters are there. I think I'm getting them right. It's written by, I believe, Amy Cullen, and I could only remember one of the two names that I wrote down at a time. I'm oddly great with names once I get them locked in, but at the beginning, like when I don't know somebody's name and it's like the first thing and I can't associate them with like a long career of things, it's really bad. Like when I meet people for the first time, they have to tell me their name like 10 times. So, new narrators and new writers. I'm sorry. Um, but the good news is I really like the audio description to this. Mostly because of Amy. Not that our narrator's voice isn't absolutely perfectly cast, which is, I'm finding Ayudo is like every project is different. And they seem to give their writers like a lot of sort of like free reign in like what it is that they can do. And I think it pays off in the long run. I think ultimately, like what they get to do is pick projects that uh, and manipulate them in the way that they feel like actually maybe represents the project. Like they get to analyze each project separately because I feel like sometimes their audio description is wildly different. Like Black Barbie is really well done for a documentary. There's a lot of talk about people's hairstyles, in which you don't normally get focus on in documentary. You know, even in a documentary that is talking about Black Barbie, which has a lot to do with style and fashion and fancy and all that good stuff. It's there's direct references to hairstyles, and not of the Barbie dolls, of actually some of the people speaking in the documentary or featured in the documentary, which is amazing because I've listened to like, I don't know, hundreds of documentaries at this point, I think, with audio description. And you don't normally get that. Normally there isn't enough time to throw that in there. Like, here's Jessica, she's talking. I mean, like they just kind of throw that in there. They're like, they're lucky enough if we know who's talking, but here there's a commitment to actually like letting us know who these people are and what they look like, and even their hairstyle, like really specific hairstyles. There was a girl that had dreads and it was like off to the side, and I thought I was like, wow, in a documentary, kudos. And I don't know that it's the most pertinent information for a documentary, but it's so unique that I really liked it. I really appreciated it, and yeah, Aido's all over the place. But it's what's funny is I feel like it's always a different writer. It's been like a different narrator every time. It's like they don't have a favorite writer or narrator, at least from what I can tell, and it makes for sort of a wide range of description coming out of that company. So very interesting. Anyway, the film discusses sort of everything that we've ever known about dolls. Anybody who's ever seen the video where like they ask the black girls, the black girl holds like the white doll and the black doll, and they're like, which one is good? And they pick the white doll, and it's like just it's like breaks your heart. Yeah, it's like everything that we know about that sort of put into like form in documentary is it's everything is about, it's about representation. And as somebody who is constantly trying to get in the room as a blind film critic, as an LGBT blind film critic, it's like I get representation. I know I don't look like I get representation because obviously there's other part of me that is fully privileged, but there's not much privilege in being disabled. So there's just you rely on a lot of people to create accessibility for you around there. So it's like an immediate checking of privilege. Um, and therefore I now advocate for accessibility universally pretty much all the time now. Um, and through this, I hear the audio description, and I talk about films like this, even though I don't look like I'm the target audience for it. I am sort of. I am a member of GALECA, and this, you know, I did enjoy this. This was a nice documentary. In many ways, I liked it at least as much as Barbie the movie, which was not necessarily my favorite film of last year, but it did make my top 25. So I thought this was a really thoughtful and insightful look into why Black Barbie needs to exist and why Black Barbie is a thing, and the cultural significance of Black Barbie and what Black Barbie has meant to the girls coming up, and the fact that she was just named Barbie. You know, she wasn't like something else. You know, like I can't remember the names they came up with. They're like, nobody wants to be Barbie's friend. You know, girls don't want to grow up to be the friend of Barbie. They want to grow up to be Barbie, and I think that's true. I think that's absolutely, you know, um, absolutely true of that. Unless you just hate the main character in a franchise, in which case, you know, like I think maybe there are kids that in the Mario and Luigi franchise for some reason like Luigi more, even though he's clearly like the second one in that equation. Like we started with Mario and then we were like, oh, by the way, Luigi. Um, so yeah, uh, maybe there's a couple of people who are like, I don't know, I don't really like that Barbie chick, but oh my god, have you seen her friend? Her friend is for real. Like it's possible. So there might be some people out there who really want to be Skipper, for example. I don't know, but uh I it, the world is weird. Okay, it's just weird, and we have to accept it. Um, Alan, for example, Michael Cera's character. There might be some dude out there who saw Alan and was like, Alan speaks to me. Ken never has spoken to me, but Alan speaks to me. Um, yeah, this is a great documentary. It's on Netflix. It has audio description. I think you absolutely should watch it. I think documentaries that offer us different perspectives other than our own are just important for us to watch because they continue to shape who we are. And if we challenge our own views and our own presence and what makes us comfortable in the world and continue to embrace perspectives other than our own, we continue to grow as human beings. So I'm happy that this was made. I love that it was made in a way too that seems like it was made without the participation of Mattel. And I don't know necessarily if it was made. I don't feel like this could have possibly been made in the timeline since Barbie came out that quickly because there feels like there's too much care that was put into it to rush it out like that. It's possible that they made it in under a year, or about a year. They saw Barbie was coming out and they're like, oh, we should make a Black Barbie movie. Maybe, but it does just kind of feel like somebody's personal journey and the people that they knew and filmmakers interviewing her grandmother and talking to her about the dolls and that she grew up with and how she was obsessed with dolls and all that good stuff. And it does kind of feel natural. It doesn't feel responsive. We have a lot of documentaries that pop up today, very reactionary, you know, like something happens with GameStop, so we get a GameStop documentary. You know, it's just like we have a lot of that are sort of like rushed out, like, oh, we have to have a documentary for this thing because it just happened. But that's not the case for this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And yeah, I fully appreciate the audio description for this film, which is odd because I don't normally gush over documentaries, but I really wanted to do that here. And I'm glad I remembered the writer's name at least because I think it's really the intention in the writing and going out of your way to make sure that stuff like that, like hairstyles, are included, that it's important, you know, in a documentary in which you're going to talk about the different hairstyles. Like they remark on the first Black Barbie's hairstyle. They're like, I remember that hairstyle. And I think all that's representation, and I think it's a good thing. I'm going to give Black Barbie an A-. I think maybe the only thing that was lacking for me was it did kind of feel weird that it had to keep inserting like these weird like letter to Mattel, response from Mattel, you know, like those things kind of took me out of it a little bit because it like the flow was broken up. But I know Maybe it's unavoidable, I don't know. To be fair, I also gave Barbie an A-, so you have the same grade. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.